Oh my God. Jesus Christ, imaginary friend to all, and to all a good night. Hello, hi, hey. Welcome to a Market Down production. My name is a guy who needs to shave his neck, and we're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw because holy shit, what a Raw, what a go home Raw. I don't want to say I guarantee, I almost guarantee because you never know nowadays, but Raw was so good. This was a better go home show than we'll get for WrestleMania. And again, I almost guarantee it. I can't fully guarantee it because you never know. They keep pulling shit out of the bag and they just might do it for the WrestleMania go home show. But this was a good show. This was a good go home show. I'm a fan. I'm excited. I didn't pull up my notes. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is a professional broadcast here, people. Um, Whatever. I'm going to start with Samuel Zayn, as it were. He was on Raw. He came out from the crowd. Surprise to everyone. It was great. He interrupted a Baron Corbin promo. Who cares, right? You know, that was a funny gag because Corbin sucks and it's part of the show now that he sucks. So that's cool. But he was interrupted by Sami Zayn, who came to the ring in a hoodie like he wasn't supposed to be. Like, you know, you're not suspended or fired or anything. Like, you're just, you know, not in the bloodline. You're still allowed to be on the show. Granted, you're a SmackDown guy on Raw, but, you know, that's never stopped anyone before. But that's not what matters. Sami Zayn came out over as all hell, wouldn't you know? Are you surprised to hear that? That Sami Zayn, Sami Uso, Usi Zayn, generic Sammy was over like Rover, and I don't even know how over Rover was, so who really knows? But man, it was great to see him, and he's so good. He's so emotional, and in a twist I don't think anyone saw coming. Even though I think we talked about this last week about wanting to see these two interact, he calls out Cody Rhodes, and this is great. So I've been giving Cody Rhodey a hard time, you know, because I think he deserves to get booed. But boy, oh boy, he is the right guy to face Rome. They are handling the story so well, borderline beautifully. Like 2 weeks in, and it's damn near perfect. Honestly, I don't know what else I would change about it. So Sammy calls out Cody. Cody comes out, says, "What do you want to talk about?" Don't say that every week, dude. Just space it out a little more, right? Probably could have skipped this one, but fine. Sammy, looking like he just finished crying or was on the verge of crying, or maybe both, asked him, "Did you mean what you said last week?" I want you to say it against me, look me in the eyes, man to man, and tell me you honestly believe that it's more and more likely that it's going to be you versus me at WrestleMania. And Sammy was so good here. The emotions was so genuine. He was steadfast in calling out Cody and needed to hear this from him. But that's the thing, he needed to hear this because he knows what he's in for. This put over the match that he's having on Sunday, where he knows in kayfabe and out of kayfabe his chances are slim. But he needed that comeuppance, and that's one of the things. And I'm already not even talking about what Cody said in response, which was great. But one of the things I loved about this was just the reality of it. And maybe someone will say they didn't like this because Sammy not seeming confident, you know, makes him look like a weak challenger. And I disagree. Like in a movie, you know, I don't want the hero to always know they're going to win the fight and come out on top and never doubt themselves. I'm never rooting for that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck. I've never seen Die Hard, but fuck John McClane, right? Like if that's how his mentality is. I don't know. I've never seen it, but you know, you get my point. I don't want to see a a movie where the hero knows they're going to win and has all the confidence in the world constantly. They need to have that doubt. And Sami has that doubt, and it was beautiful. I loved it. Everyone loved it. I assume I'm speaking for everyone because no one else is talking about Raw, so I'm going to do it. No one else. Don't look around for that. And Cody says, I meant what I said. I do believe that you can beat Roman Reigns, but why don't you believe that? He's like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation if it wasn't for you. For the first time ever, there's cracks in the bloodline. The foundation has fallen. There's seeds of doubt, and that was all because of you. You're the reason. You're the reason the bloodline's crumbling. So you can be the reason that his title reign ends. It's beautiful. I'm not doing it justice, but please go watch this promo. It was so amazing. 2 weeks in a row, Cody's had these amazing emotional promos, and they were nothing alike. I think we all would have thought that we would have had a lot of the same from Cody, a lot of the same promos, the same emotion, the same point where his voice breaks and he starts crying. But no, it's the other people that he's bringing to tears in these promos so far. It's Paul Heyman. It's Cody Rhodes. Holy fucking shit. They had the two, and how fucking full of himself is as Triple H, and how full of themselves as company that they're putting the Sami Zayn and Cody in the same ring. They're like, yeah, you're not going to boo Cody. You're going to cheer both these guys loudly and proudly. This beautiful story where we all know Sami's going to lose, but we don't care. We're pretending like we think he can win because we want him to win. And it's beautiful. And it's not damaging Cody. He is not lesser for this. He found a way to tie it in to the point where he feels involved in the Sami Zayn story, which means he feels involved with the bloodline story. And there's just so many layers to this beautiful, beautiful onion, cake that we're all enjoying. It's so wonderful. And they just had this. The crowd chanted, "This is awesome," for a promo segment, for a goddamn gosh darn it promo segment. When does that happen? Like, for real. This was amazing. I loved it. I didn't want it to end. It was just the emotion. Like, I know a person or two who have worked in the movie industry, and that's the kind of thing that you want. Like that, the Sami Zayn character has gotten over so naturally. We all know that. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before here, but the groundedness of him and he's never felt more like a real person, because when he was in the bloodline, he was an over the top like cartoon guy, but now that he's here on his own, he is scared, and that's fine. That's okay to be scared in the situation because the odds are stacked against him. And he put it best himself. He's like, I've seen the bloodline from the inside. I know every game plan, and this is nothing compared to what goes on behind the scenes. What you see is nothing compared to what's going on behind the scenes. So he knows that he's in for a fight that he's probably not going to win. And, if it was a movie, he'd be going into marching to his death, basically. And, I don't know, Sami Zayn would be like Spider-Man, and Cody would be like Captain America because he's fucking lame, even though I love him. But actually, that doesn't work. I don't love Captain America. He's a fucking dork. That's John Cena. Cody's Homelander because he thinks he's a hero. Anyway, sorry, falling apart here with analogies. But I love this. I love the doubt, Sami Zayn. I love that he needed reassurance. I love that he was seeking that in Cody. And that's the beauty of it. Compare where Roman was this time last year. And there's going to be the people that I love Brock too. But like, we didn't need to see Roman versus Brock for the, probably 27th, 28th time. Like, there was no story to that. There's nothing to care about. Even the Heyman love triangle was nothing compared to this. Because as great as Brock is, he's he's not as much of a storyteller as he's just a likable monster that fucking is badass and kills people. But since we've moved past the Brock of it all, since we've moved past all the other filler from Roman's, the last year of Roman's reign, fighting a guy like Kevin Owens, fighting a guy like Sami Zayn, fighting these people are so good, not only in ring, but with their characters, that they're able to weave the story and keep their characters grounded in reality and to their own character traits and continuity is just so wonderful. Because like Sami and Kevin are the two most realistic characters in wrestling. Like Roman Reigns is a supervillain from a movie. You know, like there are people that are very gaslighty and you know have a lot are shitty people who manipulate and take advantage of people and prey on their psychology. But he is still an over the top like mafia boss movie. You know, he's not a super realistic character. It's just a really well portrayed character. Sami and Kevin are so grounded in reality and such real, genuine people that fuels their character as opposed to their character fueling them. And they constantly find ways to come off as the most reasonable, level-headed, and realistic people that react how we would react to things. And now Cody's being sucked into that. He's getting the rub from that instead of it is magic that this man is not getting booed in favor of Sami Zayn. Instead, they're both getting each other cheered here. And this was everything because this felt like a big deal. This felt like this could be the match. That's the beauty of this is that they could have easily kept them apart to play it safe and avoid Cody being booed, but they didn't. They did this so you can think, hey, this could be the match. And at this point, I've accepted. James has accepted. I think half of us here on the Market Down podcast have accepted that Sami won't be in the main event of WrestleMania, but they've done such a good job that I think they're right to not do that. Not because Sami doesn't deserve to be there. He does. But the story they're telling is just done so well that I'm glad things are working out the way they are. I want Sami and Kevin to beat the Usos and to win Jay over and for Jay to betray the bloodline or to help make it crumble. Cody takes the title from Roman. Sami and KO take the tag titles from Usos. Jay beats Roman to end the bloodline once and for all, like the next pay-per-view or a couple pay-per-views down the line. And everyone looks better. And who the fuck knows where you go from there? Because how do you follow a 3-year story? You know, I beats fucking me, but with how well we've done with this so far, I kind of trust them. Fucking beautiful shit. Please go out of your way to watch this promo between Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. Watch Paul Heyman and Cody's promo last week. Watch this promo this week. And it's impossible to not be hyped for WrestleMania and Elimination. It's crazy that I'm almost equally as excited for Elimination Chamber as I am for WrestleMania, but that's how good the story is. But I'm going to move on to the top of the show, and we might end up talking about this again. Who the fuck knows? But we'll get here. I'm going to take a sip of water if you don't mind. Whew, all right. Oh, sorry, I got to take my notes back out. Whew. What's up, producer man? We're so professional here on the Market Down podcast. I have a producer behind the scenes. He'll be answer if anyone joins the fucking stream, which they won't because it's a Monday and it's that time. But he'll answer your questions or he'll change the banners and he'll do fun stuff. I might be making promises that we can't keep, but that's what I do. So Raw kicks off with big time Rebecca Lynch. She comes out. There's a little recap of the cage match last week. And then, Lita coming out and all that fun stuff. She got a promo. just typical stuff. Good to be here in Brooklyn. They were in Brooklyn, home of, well, New York's the home of the Market Down podcast, not Brooklyn per se, but, they're in our home turf. And oh boy, did they make me regret not going to this mother effing show. You know what I mean? Like, that show was so good. I could have been there. I wish we were there. We talked about it and then we forgot about it because you know how life is. But anyway, Becky says, now that I've beaten Bailey, I've kind of lost sight of my path to WrestleMania, but now I'm trying to get back on track and I'll beat anyone I have to do so. So Adam Pearce, put me in the chamber. I'll beat all those women and I'll go back to WrestleMania and win the Raw Women's title again. Because that's what I've been missing. That's always the ultimate goal. Cool stuff. Bailey interrupts and says that she should be in the chamber just because. And you know what? They both should be in the chamber because why the fuck is Natalya in that chamber? Why is Carmella in that chamber? No offense, Carmella. Offense, Natalya, but no offense, Carmella. You need these big stars in there. And they're being billed as two of the all-time greats. That was a Triple H directive, apparently, to keep billing them as such, which, is fair because they are. And Bianca actually interrupts and says, if they want to be in the chamber, they should have to go through me, which is like the most badass Bianca's looked in a while, to be like, hey, I'm the gatekeeper for that. Like they want to be in there. It should be going fighting me. So Adam Pearce books a triple threat for the main event. You didn't have a main event planned for your show, buddy? Oof. I mean, it's okay. The show is great, so I'm not going to give you a hard time about Adam, but you should really think about these things ahead of time. So we're going to have a triple threat. If Becky or Bailey win, they'll be added to the chamber match, and they'll start as a triple threat like they did a few years ago with Seth and Finn and whoever the third was. Doesn't matter. But that was cool. So that's a nice main event. They're stakes, so it gives you a reason to watch. Good stuff. Good start to the show. Not doing grades, but I'd probably give it a 3 out of 4, 3.5 out of 4, something. I don't know. Who cares? After that, we had our first match of the night, and it was the Judgment Day versus the Street Profits. There was a quick backstage promo from the Judgment Day, basically saying Rhea's not here. She's still promoting WrestleMania across the world, aka she went back home to Australia for a week, and that's why she wasn't on the show last week. But we're gonna beat the Street Profits on Elimination Chamber. Damien's gonna win because I've been to prison and I've been giving him all sorts of tips about being locked up in a cage. And Finn and Rhea are gonna beat Beth and Edge, hopefully. He didn't say that. I'm saying that now. But fun match, not too long. Montez looked great. There was a "We Want Mommy" chant from the crowd. Very nice. Brooklyn was a great crowd, and I'm not being biased. They were just a really good crowd. They were loud for almost the whole show. People were over, except for a few. We'll get to them, unless I forget because I stopped taking notes at some point. But the Judgment Day wins as they should. I mean, you could have actually gone, no, you should, because Finn and Priest are both in matches, whereas Dawkins is not in the chamber match, even though Ford is. Ford's going to look great, by the way. Guarantee he ends up being at least in the final 3, but hopefully final 2. And that'll be really fun. After the match, the Judgment Day starts beating them up, but Edge and Beth run down for the save. All the stars are on the show tonight. Oh, man. And they chase off Judgment Day, except for Beth, who is beating up Dom in the ring, hits him with a couple clotheslines. Very believable because she is more brolic than Dom will ever be. And now, there's all sorts of things to be said about intergender wrestling and men being stronger than women and blah, blah, blah. And, actual gender related muscle facts and all this shit that I don't fully understand. So I'm not going to say anything about it one way or the other. But all I could say is I think Beth Phoenix can beat up a lot of men on the WWE roster. So her beating up Dom is the most believable thing I think I've ever seen in wrestling. But she's going to hit a glam slam on Dom for the second week in a row. Got a pop last week, and it was getting a pop in front of a way better crowd this week. But from behind comes Rhea Ripley. She hits Beth in the back of the head, and then hits her with the Riptide, and Judgment Day stands tall and walk off laughing. Good stuff. Nice surprise attack in return for Rhea. Nice build to the match. I'm really not sure who's going to win the match. I'm excited for it, but very nervous that as much as I love Beth, I don't think she and Edge should win this match. So hopefully they don't. You know what I mean? So after that, we had a contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. And you know what? I don't get Bobby Lashley. Is he a heel? Is he a face? He was a heel this week, I'll tell you that for sure. Because he didn't go to the ring for the contract signing. He had his own table on the ramp and had security on the ramp. So I don't get it. And that's why I don't get how Bobby is stayed so over, because his character is so inconsistently booked. He's a baby who throws temper tantrums, but then he always ends up being face the week after he throws a temper tantrum. And for some reason the crowd are okay with this. I don't understand that one. But whatever. They say some shit. It wasn't too good of a promo from either one of the guys. Lesnar makes his way up the ramp, beats up all the security, but Bobby lays him out and signs the contract. Cool. I don't care about that match, but I'm sure it'll be a fun big man match, and James will love it. Or he won't, because he's, as much as he loves that joke of loving big meaty men slapping meat, he's not going to pretend a bad match is good. So, don't got much to say about that. I'm gonna summarize this next match so quick. I don't think you're gonna have time to change the banner, Rev. But we had Mia Michinien versus Piper Niven. Piper won. That was it, as she should. Cool. After that, we had the Sami Zayn promo. Sorry, producer man, producer Rev. It's too late. We've moved on. We had the Sami and Cody promo. Fantastic stuff. Again, just go watch it. I can't stress that enough. I don't think anyone who watches it will regret watching it. So this is where the show starts falling off a cliff after that. Unfortunately, kind of. Baron Corbin gets his interview after being interrupted by the Sami Zayn promo earlier. He says, fuck JBL and his stupid hat and his big oversized suits. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to be the bad guy here, but yes, I do. Sami is going to lose on Sunday, and Cody is going to lose at WrestleMania. They're not going to beat Roman. I was the last person to beat Roman, which is sadly true. He's like, so I should be the one main event in WrestleMania. He's like, Cody is going to lose. He gets handed number 30. Fair point. And, it's not fair. And, I don't like him. I don't like his brother. That's right. Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, was mentioned on Monday Night Raw. Really not a big deal, but I'm sure the internet's going to make a bigger deal out of it than it is. But, fun. And he says, yeah, I didn't like his dad either. And it's like, oh, then he said the thing. Cody happened to be there. And he beat up Corbin. They had a little brawl. And as they're brawling, this was a nice line by Cody. He's like, come here, get a ref. Like, who the fuck mid-brawl is like, yeah, let's make this official. Let's make this brawl. Like, bro, you're not EVP anymore. You don't have to manage while you're fighting. You can let someone else make those decisions. But a ref does come. They brawl to the ring, and basically they just have a brawl as a match. Cody wins because, a guy's going to main event WrestleMania, and Corbin probably won't be on the card, it seems like, at this rate. So it made sense. But it was kind of fun for what it was. No real complaints there. 2 out of 4, then we start falling off the cliff more. We have the 6-woman tag. And it's not that this was bad. It wasn't long enough to really be bad or good. My main issue is Asuka won, which is great. She made Liv tap because it was the 6 women in the chamber, but they were broken up by show instead of by heel or face. So it was a match with heels and faces on both teams. Asuka made Liv tap. Fucking Natalya was right there. Why do you have Liv Tap? She's the only other believable winner besides Asuka and Raquel. Why would just have Natalya? It's that easy, folks. Like, these things are not complicated. But whatever. It was decent for what it was. Bronson Reed squashed Mustafa Ali because, as great as Triple H has been, there's just certain people he doesn't know how to book. Ali is one of them. Bro, just free the guy. Just let him go. Like, you're not, just because you're using him doesn't mean you're using him. You know what I mean? And he's not using him. Just let him go. We have Miz TV after that. Special guest is Seth freaking Rollins wearing those stupid red boots. Those stupid, really big red boots. And look, guys, I don't want to give too much information away, but I work in the fashion industry, and those boots are stupid. Like, they're really dumb. And like, normally I don't care about that. Like, I don't like to be a person who just hates things that are popular or trendy, because, you know, I don't think it's a good way to approach life or live life, but they're just silly. Like, that's one of the kind of thing where, like, they're not even trying and you're buying into it. You know, like, hold them to a higher standard, you know? But whatever. There's not just me, producer man. Everyone's making fun of those boots. They're stupid. It's not their face. You shouldn't be wearing those. Anyway, that being said, like, I think the center from the, I don't know, a tall white guy from the Rockets came into my job the other day. Doesn't matter. I don't know his name because who the fuck watches basketball? Am I right? But Rollins, didn't want to talk about Logan Paul, even though Miz kept bringing him up. And it was a good promo. He just said, I want a main event WrestleMania. I want to be the best. I want this. I want that. And because I love this business. I love these people. They love this business, but Logan Paul doesn't. And that's fair to say, but it's really not. Okay. Dude's putting in the work. You can criticize Logan Paul for a lot of things. Like, do a 5-minute Google search and you'll despise the guy. But I don't think you can say he doesn't love this. I think he's proven he kind of does. But anyway, Miz disagrees with them, which is the main gripe I had with this, because this could have been this was a good segment that could have been really good if Miz had a consistent character, or a character, really. Because he was just had to be the heel and disagree with the face, but that flies in the face of his character, who also hates Logan Paul, by the way. So some consistency would have been nice. If this was Kevin Owens, who I mentioned before, this means someone who's so consistent with continuity, he would have, agreed, even if he was a face or a heel and the person he was agreeing with was the opposite, he would remember continuity. But anyway, they brawl. Austin Theory interferes with the brawl, but Seth still hits a stomp in the big, stupid space boots. And then Austin Theory lays him out. Man, I wonder how the Elimination Chamber is going to play out. It seems like only one of two people could possibly win. And thank God it's not main event in the show. Holy shit, could you imagine if that chamber was the main event in the show? Anyway, Miz loses to Rick Boogs after that, because who the fuck cares? And Elias has a promo with them. How did you know that was coming up next, Rev? I didn't even say it yet. But Ricky Boogers beat Miz. No one cares. Doesn't matter. I mean, there used to be something likable about Rick Boogs, but now he's obnoxious. So hopefully he just goes back to being Shinsuke's guitarist. I don't know why he's not. Where is Shinsuke, by the way? Judgment Day had another promo where they said almost the exact same thing they said earlier, except Rhea was there this time. And that's about it. Then we had our main event, because we're flying through this show. We don't got time to waste here. Also, I have no one to have banter with. It's just me, so it's not as fun. Even though there's someone here that could have been with me the whole time, but it's okay. Oh my God.
Do you want banter? Is that what you want banter? Fine. I'm here. Hi.
What's up? Did you win any money yesterday?
No, my buddy did. Congratulations to him. He did very well. I did not. Great game though. Great game.
How much did he win?
I am not at liberty to discuss, mostly because it would probably involve taxes.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Awesome. It was a good game. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, it was constant back and forth. I don't like football, but that was a good game. Fun stuff. But anyway, you watched the promo from the show, right?
I did. I did watch the Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes promo, and I know a lot of people were afraid of putting them together. They were, and I think rightfully so. But the way they did it was absolutely perfect. I thought it was, and as weird as it sounds, and maybe I'm being a little homer, being a little biased, I thought doing it in front of a New York crowd, which does tend to be a little smarkier, even though I do think a lot of smarks have gone over to AEW and other shows. New York still tends to be smarky. Putting those two guys in front of that crowd who understands what's going on and understands what they're trying to do, I think was a good call. And
I agree.
I liked the fact that Cody wasn't there to be like, oh, like, I don't care if you win or not. Like, I'm going to kick whoever ass is, whoever I'm facing at WrestleMania, I'm going to kick their ass. He was like, no, dude, like, go fucking beat Roman. Like, I like Cody's on the fuck Roman train really hard right now, like the rest of us. And he was like, Sami, go win, please go beat him. Have the confidence to yourself to do it. And you got the babyface promo from Sami where he was like, I think I can beat him. Well, he was like, I know I can beat him because I have to. Like, I believe I can beat him. Every athlete has to believe they're the best, that they can win the Super Bowl, every year, even if they're on the Texans. But Sami, like he said, they play in Houston. They were an expansion team in like 2002. They're trash. Deshaun Watson used to play for them. Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, but Sami, cuts the really good, babyface promo, and you almost kind of expect Cody not to come back with the same, and he comes back with an all-time motivational speech for Sami, and it was phenomenal. I thought they played that perfectly, where it was babyface for both guys, where Sami is more than supportive, or excuse me, Cody is more than supportive of Sami, and Sami is still, portraying that, like, that underdog with a bit of insecurity and, just, yeah, a bit of insecurity, a bit of, unsureness about himself. And what up, Nas?
Yo, Nas, you were at Raw? Are you fucking kidding me? How great was that fucking show, dude? Also, what happened after it went off the air, so we can, break that, give the scoop. But that's awesome. I regret not going so much. Like, I completely forgot it was in Brooklyn tonight until 5 minutes before the show started. Because I would have considered just going straight from work to the show if I remembered earlier in the day. But that's fucking awesome, dude. Because that show was fantastic. But yeah, I love the way Cody ended the promo where he said, he's like, I'm going to WrestleMania. I won the Rumble. I am going to finish my story no matter what. You need to go and finish your story. And that's the thing, is that he will, even though he won't beat Roman Sunday, he will finish his story by being the reason the bloodline collapses. Cody may be the guy to beat Roman, but Sami's the guy to beat the bloodline. Yeah. And Jay's the guy to put the nail in the coffin. And everyone has a role to play, except for Jimmy. He's just a body. But everyone has a role to play.
Jimmy will have a role to play.
It's just the least important of the roles, or the least exciting of the roles. There's not important. They're all important. Yeah. But like,
Nas, marry her again for buying you tickets to Raw.
Yeah, seriously, bro, that's awesome, man. It was such a fun show, dude. Like, you were lucky, or good for you that you went. It was a lot of fun. It was fun to watch. You guys were a great crowd, which is good. A lot of crowds have been hit or miss for both shows lately, so that was really, really refreshing to have a good crowd, a crowd that chants "This is awesome" in the beginning third of a long, amazing promo. Like that's fucking dope. Uh, so yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you saw that promo at least from this show, but it was that good. Hopefully Nas keeps.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
I was
thought
gonna.
Austin Theory in a street fight
Yeah.
after the show. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, there's your dark segment there. I get that's a solid dark segment. People forget that Austin Theory was one of Seth's like acolytes or something when he was the savior or whatever it was.
Yeah, I wish the announcers would mention that more. They have mentioned it once or twice, but uh, I guess it wasn't for the title that Seth got the win in the street fight. But that's cool. That's a good way to send the crowd home happy. Seth is over. That's the beauty of the show. So many people were over. Becky was over. Bianca was over, which I think has been a little bit missing from some crowds, which was good to see that she was like just as over and felt like she was on these girls' levels. I'm going to use that to transition into the main event, but before that, Sami and Cody were incredibly over. Like Otis was over. Almost any face on this card was over, and some of the heels were, some of them weren't. Like Brock was on the show, and I don't even think he was in like the top three most over people on the show. Like that's how good this crowd was. That's how strong these faces are right now. People were firing on all cylinders, and that's great to see. But this main event also fired on all cylinders. Oh my god! You know what's crazy is they muted the beginning of it because they had the Corbin promo backstage. So like you couldn't hear the crowd for a few seconds until they started cutting to the ring, but you can see Sami before you can hear the crowd because most of the audio was playing from the back. So you didn't get all of it until after that, but it was still really, really loud. But I'm glad to know that the pop was even louder than it came across on TV because they definitely missed it. That segment was not good, but their last match also wasn't good. So I guess that's a step up. That was not. I didn't like that. I mean, the brawl was cool, but like I don't get Lashley's character. He's a heel and face week by week. He's literally Big Show at this point. Like
I'm waiting for the recreation of the Hurt Business because there was that one promo the other week. It might have been online only. I don't remember, but MVP was talking to the, Shelton and Cedric
in the
in the
background.
back.
Yeah,
So
that was happening again this week. I forgot what promo it was. It might have been the Baron Corbin promo, but
I'm excited for that. They were
that's the
so good
thing.
together. We were all so disappointed when they broke up. So hopefully Triple H is rectifying that mistake.
See, I don't like it because it feels unjustified because they broke up. Not only did they break up once, but they broke up twice because Cedric turned on Shelton and they're just back together with no storyline
That's fair.
justification. But like,
I think there's a storyline. I think it's just happening on main event, and things that happen on main event have as much relevance as things that happen on AEW Dark Elevation. So
I think their story is that they both realize that they're losers and they might as well stick together. But that's the thing, though. Even the excitement of them getting back together feels weird now because Lashley was the heel this week, and the whole thing was that they're heels, but they're trying to win him back over, and he was staying face. But I guarantee at the pay-per-view he ends up being face afterwards. Again, it's just so dumb. His character's so inconsistent. I like Lashley, but his booking is so bad. I don't get how he's still this over, honestly. But
I mean, he is cool, admittedly. Like,
he hasn't done anything cool in a while.
Cool. Yeah, when he's booked right, he's cool.
No, it was when he first won the title. I loved that reign. I thought it was so great that he beat Drew at Mania. Like I thought that was the right move at the time. It's just everything since he lost it has been so inconsistent for me and bad but it feels like everyone's letting it go because he had that really good run. And I get that to a point, but now I've reached a point where I don't get how people are letting it slide. Like his character has been so inconsistently booked.
Yeah. Which is disappointing too, because I think people for so long wanted this Lesnar versus Lashley storyline because both of them left WWE. They went to go pursue adventures in MMA, and both were very successful. Bobby Lashley, although not to the fame of Lesnar, was very, very good in Bellator. So, like, they both went and did that and then have come back to wrestling now. And we've wanted to see these matches, and I think the first one, I know they had one. I don't remember where it was. Was it Saudi Arabia? Like,
I think that was the second one. The first one was at the Royal Rumble last year,
yeah,
but that
I
had
feel,
interference from Roman, and then the second one was at Saudi Arabia. That was the bad one that
yeah,
Nas alluded to earlier.
exactly. Like, I feel like these matches have not lived up to the expectations that we've had of them.
Oh no, they have not, and
Like,
that's my thing about them.
I almost borderline want like an old school Japanese worked shoot. Like, like let these guys step into a cage and duke it out that way. I don't think it would be good, but it'd probably be better than the shit they've been doing so far.
Yeah, I guess so. I could see that, but
Also, Nas has my back. Hurt Business. Let's go.
yeah, whatever.
The Hurt Business was a lot of fun. Honestly, I think Lashley's reign started to fall apart when the Hurt Business started to fall apart.
I know, but them falling up, like, it ended so badly that I don't want it back. Like, it's not, I enjoyed it when it was there, but now it's over. And like, I just don't want it back. Like, honestly, like, it was great while it lasted, but it didn't last. I'd rather have just moved on. But that's fine. If it's back, I'll give it a chance, and I'm sure it'll be decent. It won't be as good as the first time, that's for sure, but
yeah,
it'll be better than what Lashley's been doing. So that's like, it's fine that they're going to do it. But to get back to where we were at the show at this point, I'm going to tell you about this main event. So it was the big Burberry belt match. It was the 3Bs of WWE. It was Becky, Bayley, and Bianca in a triple threat match with easy to understand stakes, but hard to say because they were saying it's a win and you're in match for Becky and Bayley. But basically if they won, whichever one of them won would be added to the chamber. But if Bianca wins, neither of them be entered in the chamber. Now this felt very old school WWE and very AEW at the same time, and put in stakes onto the match so that it has stakes and it's not just a match, and it's a title eliminator in a way, or a championship contenders match in a way. And it harkens back to something they've done before. It's teasing something they've already established as possible. And I was a very big fan of this because it was just, hey, here's two storylines coming together, intertwining, and here's basically the three biggest stars in the women's division. And we're gonna put them. Wow, no spoilers for Rev, who didn't watch the show.
I do know who won. I haven't flipped through Reddit yet to watch all the clips, but as I was updating the banners, so I would be ready, I did see who won this match.
Yeah,
but I think it makes sense. But we'll get there.
No, it does. It does. But it was a fun triple threat. I think Becky and Bianca have really mastered the triple threat match after the one with Asuka, and I think they had a whole loop of doing them on like house shows for like the whole summer and shit. But there was some early stuff, like Bianca was using Becky as a weapon, basically she threw Becky into Bayley for like a crossbody, and then was holding her, in like the power slam position and whipping her around to try to kick Bayley. There's a lot of fun stuff like that. A lot of roll ups. It's funny as I don't, roll ups have become so played out in wrestling to me, but you do it in a triple threat and all that goes out the window. And I'm super into roll ups and just all those sequences. I like them so much better in triple threats than in singles matches. That was just something I realized during this match. I'm like, yeah, these roll ups are exciting me instead of offending me. Like, that's cool. But yeah, Bianca's fucking insane, dude. She's fucking ripped and crazy strong. But Bayley takes control for a while. The crowd does a little bit for it because I think, I hate to end up accidentally agreeing with Russo or Conan. Actually, I don't mind agreeing with Conan, but damage control is damaged goods. So Becky has been trying her best to rehab Bayley for the past 3 months, but you can only do so much.
Do you really think damage control shot already? Obviously.
Oh my god! So yes, so like
I do my best.
Bayley lost to Bianca clean like 3 times with damage control's help. So she single-handedly beat the whole faction. So then Becky feuding with them and struggling to overcome the odds didn't make a lot of sense because they're weakened. So like clearly that would have been the other way around if if Becky didn't get injured, whereas like she would have lost to them a couple times, Bianca would have beat them, and then Becky would probably gotten her revenge after that. But because the way it played out, it's like they have no credibility, and like Becky really tried to give Bayley. She did successfully give her back some credibility, maybe at her own expense, but
Well, I was gonna say, is that more of a Bayley losing her credibility, or the group as a whole, or perhaps maybe the group as Bayley's defense mechanism, for lack of a better phrase? Because I don't know if they still have the titles, but like Damage Control in terms of EO
that doesn't
and
mean
Dakota,
anything.
I mean,
Yeah, but they're just there to react to things. They happen to be the tag. They're tag champs the same way the Usos were tag champs for like 6 months. Where like you're just tag champs because of who the leader of your group is, and you're not really doing anything with them. Granted, the Usos went on to do great things, but
they're champs, and Bayley can't buy a win. So
yeah, and that's a good story, but like, nothing's happening with that. There's nothing developing. Like that was a thing, and that was a good story that Becky and Bayley were telling for a couple of weeks, but there was no payoff to that in the Rumble. Like there was no tease of any payoff to that, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be any time in the future. But anyway,
Nas does make a good point though. Like the women tag belts, I don't want to call them a joke, as like he did, but I know belts are props in general, but in this case, they're like literal props with no meaning behind them.
Yeah, because they have no competition. They have a random pairing of women to face every like 6 weeks, and they win. And there's no story to the matches. They're just so they can have a defense.
Because the women's tag division is non-existent.
Nas, it's a good question, but I actually think the answer is that Damage Control is going to drop Bayley because she is the loser. I think that will eventually pay off, where they'll be like, "Well, we win all the time, and you're the loser. So why are we helping you?"
That does seem to be the setup.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could push Dakota and EO out of that because Bayley's established. Like she's fine. She can come.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying that they're damaged good, but like it's okay that Bayley's losing. That's not my issue. It's just that she was beaten so dominantly by Bianca that I think it hurt everyone and didn't help anyone. And it's like, but anyway.
Also, ding dong, hello. Why are we not calling them the Huggers? Who is Damage Control?
That's true. Yeah, but then you can't make the damaged goods line if you don't call them Damage Control.
Fine.
Otherwise,
like better.
No, it is. I mean, we named them better than Damage Control is not a good name. It's just what it is. Bayley and the Huggers is a fantastic name, and they would be more over if they were called Bayley and the Huggers.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of fun interactions. Eventually, Damage Control comes out. They're not there from the beginning. They come out during commercial break, which is so dumb. Bad producing, really bad producing. Like we have two great producers on this show. Neither of you guys would have made that fucking terrible move of having the goons come out for the first time during commercial break. So silly. But after a lot of cool exchanges between Becky, Bianca, and Bayley, because I really do think they've perfected the triple threat formula. Eventually, it comes down to the rest of all the women from the chamber match on Sunday laying out Damage Control and then brawling with each other for some reason. I mean, because they're going to fight each other on Sunday, but like it just was so unnatural the way the brawl started between everyone. But eventually, Bianca took Io and chucked her into everyone, which was nice. Good pile of bodies, nice moment. Makes none of them seem like credible contenders, though, which, ultimately Bianca did win this match, as Nas said. But it was a little moment like that where I'm like, oh, like, maybe you should have had Becky or Bayley win because everyone in this match seems like a joke now. Like, I mean, granted,
Elimination Chamber?
Yeah. Because after that, after a couple more...
I was going to say, your point does kind of make sense because, the way where Becky and Bayley are on the, not even like the card, but like the power tiers, for lack of a better phrase. Yeah, the rest of the people in the chamber outside of Asuka don't really measure up to them. So, yeah, he got a good point there. I understand them making Bianca look phenomenal by beating, she pins Bayley, and then obviously, Becky ends up with the L as well. But Yeah, I think you're kind of doing the women in the chamber a bit of a disservice.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you put people like Natalia in the match in the first place. But like, you know, and I don't want to hear any of your arguments, Chad, or whatever Natalia defenders are out
She
there.
serves a purpose, but the purpose is
Nope.
to eat the pin.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyone could serve that purpose. But
fair.
She doesn't do that better than anyone else. She's actually a bad seller. But anyway.
That's a debate for another time.
Yeah, but the end of the match was cool. Becky hit the manhandle slam on Bayley, and then, shot up in excitement. Bianca just picked her up and KO'd her onto Bayley, and then pinned Bayley. So fun triple threat. There was shenanigans. I wouldn't argue that it's like, oh, Becky and Bayley didn't need to take more losses. They didn't, absolutely didn't. But this, again, was the kind of main event you would have in the Attitude Era where it's like, oh, your three biggest stars in the division going at it. Like, you know how many matches Rock randomly could lose on a Raw or a SmackDown? It wasn't unheard of for, like, especially in a multi-person match, was they had plenty of. They always had matches with a lot of shenanigans, and this had all of that. So, like, no one looked bad coming out of it. Everyone, it just felt like a big deal because it was 3 stars. And literally the 3 biggest stars in the Raw division, aside from Rhea Ripley, who is moving over to SmackDown soon. But, everyone felt bigger. And that's why it's like, well, now we're going to have this chamber. None of those 3 women are in it. And you expect me to care about anyone except for Asuka. But even then, like, she, that's the only thing that, it was a cool spot. And I'm looking too much into that to say, oh, like, well, everyone who got laid out by a tall Io Sky looks like a jabroni. But, like, to a degree, I like the brawl didn't make anyone look better, but except for the people in the match. But it's good because everyone looked better. I think Bianca needed this a lot, and that's why I still think this was the right move and a good idea to have. Because they've been doing this thing lately or the past couple of years where they make getting to WrestleMania seem not guaranteed, and like people keep missing opportunities to get on. And the only real negative is that I want Bayley and Becky to move on to other things, but it seems like this is still going to be the match for Mania. I think we'll get a triple, or not, a 6-woman tag. It'll be Becky, Trish, and Lita versus Damage Control. I don't think we're going to get. Actually, I'm going to say I don't care if we get Ronda. I don't care. Fuck Ronda and Shayna as a team. I'm over that too. That's another. They botched that shit. Move on. I don't give a fuck about that anymore either.
At least it's mostly on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Is I don't have to watch. That's the only thing I don't. I hate that I don't get to see Rhea Ripley anymore because she's going to be on SmackDown. But
yeah, I mean, we've had that argument already.
Yeah. That's
check it out. On an episode was that 72 of the Market Down podcast.
More people do watch SmackDown than Raw, so that's really an us thing. But like,
which is odd, but
it is. It's because it's on Fox. That's the only reason. I guarantee once they leave Fox, it goes down.
Yeah, because it's broadcast television versus cable television. That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, fun main event. It was a good match, fun match. It was honestly easily the best match on the show. It was a cool ending. It was the best match on the show, which is not to say much because this show wasn't about matches. It was more about moments and promos, and it had a lot of them. It was a great show. It does. It really does. Full death. It does because it gets like 2 point something million while Raw gets like 1.8 or something. Like it's like 500,000 more it gets than Raw on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Ratings are weird because even though you would think more people would watch Raw on a Monday instead of sitting at home on a Friday and watching SmackDown, because SmackDown is on Fox and it's on basic cable, more people have access to it as opposed to USA Network. So that's why, like, if you watch an NBA game on ABC, it usually has a higher rating than it would on, say, ESPN, even though they're the same company and the same sport, obviously. But more people have access to ABC than they do ESPN. So it's a weird. The ratings are weird. They're all based off like 100-year-old like survey system, and they're still worth the look, but they're not what the ratings themselves aren't what they used to be. They don't mean as much as they used to.
And that's the thing. Raw was the A show, like up until the SmackDown moved to Fox. That's literally the moment that changed. And they put Roman on it. They put Brock on it at first. They put, they put Becky on it when she came back to put Charlotte on it. Like they were throwing all the big names on there, and it's just, yeah, it's easier to view. Like everyone has Channel 5, not everyone has USA, which is I like ratings aren't the end all be all or anything, but it's advertisers still care about it, networks still care about it,
Yeah.
obviously. But like
It's a good basis and like guideline for everything, but it doesn't count like streaming numbers. For example, you don't know who's streaming USA Network on whatever app you can stream it on, so it's kind of hard to tell. That's literally just Nielsen boxes, and quite frankly, I've tried to look at these things and I still don't know what a Nielsen box is.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. I'm just gonna assume every show has more people watching it than ratings show.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how you go about things. And Eric in the chat with his hell yeah Kite Man impression. Great job, buddy. Season 4, Harley Quinn coming out eventually. Who knows?
Well, I was gonna say the Valentine's Day episode just dropped, so
there we go. That's so crazy because it just became Valentine's Day like 20 minutes ago.
I was going to say, I was going to say that's tomorrow, but it's now today. And if you need to get something done, go get it fucking done like in the morning, because don't forget, people, I don't have these problems, but
yeah.
The people who do have these problems, don't forget. This
holidays.
Is your last warning.
Yeah. Last warning. You're probably screwed, but good luck. Maybe it'll work out well.
I got my Valentine's Day gift. It was a scratch off from my grandmother, and I won $2. So I'm good.
Look, I
Grandma.
can't say for sure, but I feel like you said Valentine's Gay gift, and
maybe. Honestly, I was drinking before I knew I was producing the show, so.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. I mean, I had it. The only thing I wouldn't have been able to change the banners because I wouldn't have to stop and type.
It's a lot.
So yeah, thanks for being here for that.
Little behind the scenes on the air, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, we had a good show. I genuinely think this was the best Raw of the year. I know we're only a few weeks in, but for Ian Slip, but it was a really fun show. And this felt like the road to WrestleMania, like in a good way, in a way it hasn't felt like in a couple years. And this was really, really exciting. If this is the go home show to Elimination Chamber, I can only imagine what the next few weeks are going to look like. So cannot wait for this Saturday. It's going to be great. I feel like there's no way it could be bad. The main event's going to be a tearjerker. I'm probably going to cry. I feel it now. I think I'm going to cry during the main event, but
I don't know if I'm going to cry, but it's definitely going to be one of those like, holy shit.
Yeah. Have you ever cried?
I haven't cried since 2005.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's 100% true. I fractured and dislocated my pinky, and they had to set the broken bone, and that was the last time I cried.
Damn, man. I feel like I thought I was the sociopath on this podcast, but bro, I probably cried like 2 days ago or something. I don't know. Like,
we're just crashing this, dude. The amount of physical pain that was, I don't think could ever be matched. So,
what about emotional pain, bro?
Nah,
I don't think I can't remember last time I've cried from physical pain. But
see, when I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. True story.
I mean, being sad is gross, so I don't do it. But like, I think that's interesting. Eric cries every day. I'm gonna put that on the screen for a bit. I'm gonna leave that up until
my bad. We clicked it at the same time. There you go.
Yeah, let's leave that up until the show goes off the air. But fun show. Watch some highlights from it, Rev. I think you'll enjoy it. I
definitely plan to. Cause honestly, WWE has been good recently, and even though I don't watch the shows because I feel like there's so much bloat in them that I don't want to sit through the entire 3 hours of Raw. And then again, neither do you, hence Raw fast forward, but I don't have the DVR anymore. But yeah. I do consume it via clips, whether it's on Reddit, on YouTube, Twitter, whatever social media platform it is. I do get the main gist of Raw every week. And I am enjoying what I am seeing. I just, by the time I hopped into here, I hadn't seen everything yet.
Yeah.
So I'm a little lost on some stuff. But like this, and I hate saying this because everything's fucking branded, but this road to WrestleMania so far, these first few stops on the road here, they've seemed to be solid. We got a good promo out of Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes last week. We got a good promo out of Sami and Cody Rhodes this week. I think, we're setting up okay for the Elimination Chamber, but yeah, I think we're doing a good job with the main stuff here. Maybe they're missing the mark on Brock and Bobby, and quite frankly, I haven't seen enough of that to know, but they're doing well. There's a lot of good stuff here to look forward to as we head into Elimination Chamber. I'm sure they'll set up a bunch more on Friday, and then we'll see what happens as they head towards Mania itself.
Yeah, I think you summed it up quite nicely. It's been a smooth and exciting road so far. Maybe not smooth, but exciting, because is a smooth road exciting? Not really. You need some ups and downs,
If you don't hit a pothole, you don't get an adrenaline rush of holy fuck, did I just blow my tire out?
Yeah, like, have you guys ever been to Buckout Road? That you need that sort of excitement. You need those sort of bumps and ups and downs. And that you need to be a little scared about what you might see, and then ultimately.
Yeah, you gotta have a deer on the side of the road that fakes like it's gonna come running out at you, and you slam the brakes. You gotta hit the rumble strip at least once. There's gonna be some bumps, but we'll get there. And it's those little things that make it more exciting.
You gotta stop the car in front of a house that was allegedly home to an entirely albino family of cannibals that have killed and eaten people before. Just for a few moments, so you have that thrill of the fear of potentially dying, to get that level of excitement. And I don't want to see a face like that from a guy who hasn't cried in fucking 17 years.
Well,
okay.
I was gonna go with you have to pass a state trooper doing a little bit too far over the speed limit for my adrenaline rush. But yeah, if you want to go see an albinistic cannibal's house, go ahead.
Yeah, but Eric said definitely the best road to WrestleMania since 35, and I agree. Don't put that on the screen though, because I want to keep that cry every day.
I thought about it, but this is your show, and I'm leaving that up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just fun. It's nice to be excited. It's nice to end the show and be like on a good note. Like, I could say the show dragged a little bit at the 10 o'clock point, which it always does, but like, I'll let that go when the rest of the show was really good. So fantastic show. Probably give it like a 93%, or like a 9.3 out of 10, or like a 7.4 out of 8. Fantastic show. Good stuff. Check out everything you can. And everyone out there, just, if you don't watch anything from the show, watch the Cody Sami promo. You will not regret it.
Highly recommend. It's the one thing I've actually seen from this episode, and it was phenomenal.
Can confirm, was great.
I just saw originally the Sami clip of him saying like, I know I can do this, but I don't think I can do it. I just saw that on Twitter. It was like a 30-second clip. I think Ariel Helwani tweeted it out because he had just interviewed Cody today, and then he did a great British Bake Off thing with Sami, which I need to watch. Apparently it's really funny, but he's been really invested in this in general. He's a big wrestling fan, and he just tweeted out that 30-second clip that WWE had put up on Twitter, and I was like, holy fuck, this promo had to be amazing.
Yeah, and it was. So everyone go check it out. And then catch us on Wednesday for a Dynamite review, and then catch us on Thursday for our podcast. We'll do our Elimination Chamber predictions. It'll be a fun time. But on that note, that's been producer Reverend Cummins. I've been a guy who needs to shave his neck tomorrow. And this was the Raw Fast Forward. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Fool Death and Eric Grisanti for chatting in. Thanks for Nas for chatting in after leaving the show. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with me, Rev. Everyone have a good night. Check out our social medias. They'll be in the description. Be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. Happy Valentine's Day. Get a cat.